Good morning. Let us start the lecture. This is optical fiber communication DET 3202. Course outcomes. The students will be able to understand different communication media, various blocks and applications of the optical fiber communication system. The students will be able to understand the optics rules and measure the optical fiber cable parameters. Students will be able to identify suitable detector for a given application. Students will be identify suitable connector and measure the losses in the optical fiber cable, and students will be able to understand the architecture of the optical network for given applications. So these are the course outcomes. So we are previous lecture we are discussing about the sonnets. We have started the sonnet. We have completed the optical network, optical amplifiers, and WDM, DWDM, OTN also. And we have to now check the sonnet. Let us discuss about the sonnet. Sonnet stands for synchronous optical network. Okay. Sonnet is a synchronous optical network. Basically, it is optical network and it is operating synchronous. SDH stands for synchronous digital hierarchy. Sonnet and SDH are same parallelly. In US it is developed as and named as synchronous digital hierarchy SDH. So Sonnet SDH is a communication protocol. It is a communication protocol. Protocol means set of rules. How to package the data, what the correction strategies, what the error identification strategies are there, and what are the headers, tailors, addressing styles, and all this. These set of rules are called protocols. So in networking, there is a standardization of rules so that any node cannot get confused about the received packet of the data. So every node knows that this and this number to this number bit is meaning this, it is for this, and this means this. So all this structure of the data which is packed is a fixed, and what are the rules for routing and bridging and switching, all these rules are fixed. So this is called standardization, and this standardization is developed in the protocols also. That standardization is done in the protocol also. So protocol is the setup rule which decides how to work, how this network will work, and this is standardized also. That means it is fixed also, or accepted by all, efficiently working, accepted by all. That is standardization, and it is used for to transmit the large amount of data over relatively large distance using the optical fiber. Obviously, optical fiber is having enormous bandwidth and very low loss, so that it can be used for long haul or long distance communication. So SONET is the synchronous optical network and it is related to optical network, so it will handle the large amount of data and over the relatively large distances using the optical fibers or optical fiber network. With SONET, multiple digital data streams are transferred at the same time over the optical fiber. So it can stream multiple data types. It can be handling all types of data simultaneously. Okay. So it can have the handling of the data simultaneously, different kind of the, and accordingly the different kind of the data for different systems. Those system conversions, translations is also possible, can be done or is done in the SONET, and this we have seen. So features of SONET SDH, it is developed by Bellacor, which is the laboratory or group which is initiated this task, or it is proposed by the protocol is proposed. SONET protocol is developed proposed by Bellacor, and then after that the Bellacor developed this basic, or initially it was also used by the Bellacor. Once it is given by Bellacor, then the North America used it grossly, and then it is standardized by ANSI. Okay, standardized means it is published all over, and many reviews, peer review is taken place, and they are actually utilized and for some time, sufficiently long time, and then it is decided whether what are the bugs in that and what are the problems with that, and then that will be modified, rectified accordingly, and it is then accepted, and this process is called standardization. So it is standardized by ANSI, which is the organization which standardizes the different standards. So this is called standard. So SONET protocol now become the standard. So all will use this, all are accepted that. So universally accepted, that is called standardized, and it is done by ANSI, standardized by ANSI, American National Standards Institute, American National Standards Institute, ANSI, ANSI. Similar to SDH, synchronous digital hierarchy, which is used in the Europe and Japan. So this is used in SONET, used in USA, and in Europe and Japan it is named as SDH, synchronous digital hierarchy. So why this SONET is called the synchronous network? Because a single clock, synchronous, why it is called synchronous? Because a single clock, primarily it is a reference clock, it is primary reference clock, PRC. It is a single clock, that is a primary reference clock, PRC, handles the timing of transmission of the signal and equipped across the entire network. So entire network is having this same primary reference clock, PRC, and the signal clock, that PRC signal clock, unique signal clock, handles the timing of transmission of signal and equipment across entire network. All the equipment will be in synchronism with the clock, all the transmission will be in the synchronism with this clock. So single clock is used, so total process is synchronous, that's why it is called synchronous network. SONET is a synchronous network. So this is the SONET network elements, block diagram you can say. There are terminals. So these are the terminals, user terminals or devices we can say, on both the sides. These are the terminals, these are the terminals. Then terminals are connected to STC, MUX, DMUX on both the side STC and mux demux, so that multiple devices can be multiplexed, or the signal coming from further these devices can be demultiplexed. So, the signal or data from all the devices can be multiplexed, and common signal which is received to this mux demux will be demuxed and given to individual devices. So, mux demux is there, and there is a link in between one mux demux and other mux demux. So, the link, optical fiber link can have the or is having the regenerators. Obviously, regenerators are required because very long distance data path is there. So, that may have the loss, and that can introduce the errors due to the loss. So, erroneous data may be presented on the other end, receiver. So, to avoid that, data is intermittently boosted, regenerated, received, regenerated, and then over again sent over the network. And it is a provision of adding or dropping the mux according to the network dynamics, continuously modification going on. So, from one device to one other device, the fiber optical fiber section or the part is called a section, and from one mux to other it is called path, and from end to end it is called one mux to other mux it is called line, that is one node to other node, and end to end there may be multiple nodes in between, it is called path, total path. So, there is a section, there is a line, and there is a path in the network. So, it is very similar block diagram which we have seen for other WDM etc. also, and SONET is also using the WDM. So, it is having the similar path, and we have discussed the SONET in WDM in optical networks many times. So, again we are discussing some more. So, SONET elements are STC multiplexer, STC demultiplexer, where STC multiplexer performs the multiplexing of the signals, STC multiplexers converts the electrical signal into optical signal. Okay. Device may be in the electrical form, computer is giving the signal in physical layer is giving signal in the electrical form. Then in this electrical form signal has to be converted into the optical form. So, STC multiplexer performs the multiplexing of the signal, at the same time it converts the electrical signal to optical signal, so that can be combined together with the other device signals, and then total combined optical signal can be sent over the optical fiber, so that optical fiber medium can accept that signal in the form of optical or light. Similarly, the STC demultiplexer is having the functions that it performs the demultiplexing of the signal and it converts the optical signal into electrical signal. So, demultiplexer will have just the opposite functioning, reverse functioning of the multiplexing device. So, multiplexing performs multiplexing, converts electrical signal to optical, and demultiplexing performs demultiplexing and converts optical to electrical. Okay. So, these are the elements of the SONET network: STC multiplexer, STC demultiplexer, multiplexing and conversion electrical to optical, demultiplexing and converting optical to electrical. Then also SONET network has the elements like a regenerator and add drop multiplexer, as we have seen the block diagram, isn't it? So, regenerator, it is the repeater station that takes the optical signal and regenerates, or it increases the strength. Either it regenerates that signal, or it increases the strength. that means it is only amplifying. So regenerator may be replaced by the optical amplifiers. Okay. So either repeater station will have regeneration or only amplification, increasing the strength. So in case of regeneration, signal is taken, it is detected what are the data bits 1 or 0 or 1 or 0, and accordingly new data bits are created and then it is retransmitted. This is called regeneration repeater stations. Or the repeater stations may have amplification. Whatever the signal is there, it is strengthened by amplification. So regeneration, it is a repeater that takes the optical signal and regenerates it or increases the strength of it. Then there is a add drop multiplexer. It allows to add signal coming from the different sources into given path or remove a signal. So it allows the signal to coming from the different sources, either allows or it removes from the path. So it is called add drop multiplexer. It allows the signal or disallows the signal. So this allowing and disallowing is helping in the routing, optical routing. Okay, so it is called add drop multiplexer. So it allows to add the signal or disallows or removes the signal. So these are the elements: multiplexer, demultiplexer, and then regenerator and add drop multiplexer. Why the SONET is used? SONET is used to convert electrical signal into optical signal so that it can travel longer distance. Okay. SONET is used to interface the electrical devices to the optical architecture, infrastructure, optical network. SONET is used to interface the devices, electrical communication devices to the optical architecture or optical network. So SONET is used to convert electrical signal into optical signal. If it wants to interface that device with the optical network, then it has to have the compatibility in between electrical and optical network, either electrical network and optical network or electrical device and optical network. So how this compatibility is achieved? By converting electrical signal into optical signal and vice versa, optical into electrical. So SONET is used to convert electrical signal into optical signal so that it can travel longer distances in the optical case. So SONET connections are there, and these connections are having the different names for the different part of the connection. That is, either it is a section, the connection, specific connection is known as a section, or it is called as a line, or it is called as a path. We have seen this in the block diagram. So what is connection? Called a section is portion of a network connecting two neighboring devices. It is a part of the network, portion of the network that is connecting two neighboring devices. Two devices which are very close to each other, very neighboring to each other, whatever the portion of the network connecting that is called section. Okay. And what is the line? It is a portion of a network connecting two neighboring multiplexers. Okay. Line is portion of network connecting two neighboring multiplexers. Section is portion of network connecting two neighboring devices. Line is portion of network connecting two neighboring multiplexers, whereas path is end-to-end portion of the network. Path is end-to-end portion of the network. Okay. Section is the device-to-device connection. Then line is multiplexer to multiplexer connection, and path is end to end device connection. Okay. So this is about the connections, different connections of the SONET: section, line, path. Section, device to device connection; line, multiplexing, neighboring multiplexer to neighboring multiplexer; neighboring device to neighboring device; neighboring multiplexer to neighboring multiplexer; and path is end to end, which are communicating each other. One device is communicating other device, so end to end, one device which is transmitting, another device which is receiving, end to end, total part of the network, it is called path. So synchronous optical network SONET, which is having the functional layers, SONET or SDS, which is having the functional layers like this. As we know, ISO ASI model is there, there are layers. TCP/IP model protocol is there, that is having layers. Similarly, SONET optical protocol is also having the functional layers, which is very same as the TCP/IP or that is IP or ISO ASI model. Okay, they are similar to that. It is in the optical domain, optical communication, optical architecture domain. So it is having two main blocks: data link block. One is data link block, second is physical block. So in TCP/IP also physical layer is there, data link layer is there. Okay, 5 layers are there, isn't it? So in ISO ASI model, 7 layers, out of that one is physical layer, one is data link layer. Similarly, here the SONET is having physical layer, or we can say functional layer, and data link functional layer. Now each is having different functions, that's why these are called functional layers. So physical layer is an electronic layer. Okay, and it is a photonic layer. So it is photonic or electronic. So it converts the electrical to photonic, light to electric. So it is called photonic layer. And data link layer is having again 3 sub types, that is path layer, line layer, and section layer. Okay, data link layer, either it handles the section, that is neighboring device, one device to other device, or it is handling one device to other device, and such many sections may form the one multiplexer to other multiplexer. So that is the line layer. And one multiplexer to other multiplexer, such many connections are there, which is making end to end, device to device, and that is path layer. So it is hierarchy, one by one. After it is having particular level for particular type of the layer. So first section is there, then all the sections will be making the line, and all the lines will be making the path. So path is divided into lines, and lines are divided into sections. And once the sections are there, then in section layer, from one device to other device, the data is transferred, which is handled in the photonic layer. Okay. So all the electrical to optical conversions are there, and data is sent over there, and so data received and optical is again converted into electrical, and it is communicated to the device. So path layer handles the part of the protocol which is related to path, that is address of the path, another end of the path, that is end to end addresses. Line layer handles multiplexer to multiplexer addresses and the path details, and section layer handles the device to device addresses and the path details. Okay. So the link which is established in the device to device is, or multiplexer to multiplexer or end to end devices may have different ways of connections. Okay. So, it is efficiently managed in the network handling or network management. For the efficiency, it is changed. Accordingly, the addresses will be changed. Accordingly, the different contributing elements will change, and path will be that total trace from one end to other end. It will be redefined again, and it is called routing. Whereas the photonic layer always converts the signals to be sent into optical form, and it is communicated over the fiber, and whatever signal received from the other end, it is in the optical form, which is converted into electrical data signal, and then it is given to the data link layer, so that it can handle it for its error checking, error correction, data separation and address separation, identifying the address and whether that address is for this device, or if it is not there, whether it to be retransmitted or whether it to be discarded. This depends on the type of the protocol. Either it can be discarded or it can be retransmitted. If it is required, it is having the responsibility of communicating this to the next for continuing the data transmission, then it will be retransmitted with the new address, neighboring device address, neighboring multiplexer address, or neighboring next device, last device address. So, this rearranged every time. So, this all function is handled by data link, and physical layer only handles the conversions from electrical to optical, optical to electrical. So, this is about the SONET functional layers, which are important layers: data link layer and physical layer. Data link handles the data packaging and data additional payload adjusting or adding functions, and physical layer handles the conversions. Physical layer handles the conversion O to P or P to O to E or E to O, optical to electrical, electrical to optical. And data link handles the data related packaging, error correction, error checking, address tagging, okay, all this. So, data processing is in data layer, and in physical layer the energy type of energy conversion, either optical or electrical. This SONET includes 4 functional layers, that is the path layer, line layer, then section layer, okay, and photonic layer. So, in path layer, it is responsible for movement of the signal. It is responsible for movement of a signal from its optical source to its optical destination. Path layer means end to end. So, it is responsible for movement of the signal from its optical source to optical destination. Whatever is required for sending one end to other end, all this is handled by path layer. That means all the addresses, setting of the path from one end to other end, and it can change dynamically. Once it is having this number of these nodes, other may be having the different nodes for other packet. So, it is depending on the traffic, load, then efficiency, availability. So, it is responsible, path layer is responsible for movement of the signal from its optical source to the optical destination. Here our assumption is that you are all knowing the computer network protocols and computer network functioning. So, we are only discussing about the SONET related things which are already aware of in the computer network parallel, isn't it? Counterpart. Computer network protocols are there. That counterpart we are already aware of. We are knowing. So that is the assumption. If you are if you want to know it, we can just quickly refresh it on the book or internet, so that it will become more easier to deal with this. So path layer is responsible for movement of a signal from its optical source to its optical destination. So STC MUX DMUX provides path layer functions. So STC is MUX DMUX provides the path layer functions. So obviously the STC MUX DMUX are deciding the path layer. Then line layer is responsible for the movement of signal across the physical line. Okay. So from the one neighboring multiplexer to other neighboring multiplexer. Okay. So STC MUX DMUX and add drop MUX provides the line layer functions. STC MUX DMUX as well as add drop MUX provides the line layer. So line layer is from one add drop to other, or one device to one add drop MUX, or from one MUX to other MUX or device to MUX. This layer is called line layer. This section is called line path. This path is called line. So it is whatever the movement is there across the physical line, it is handled by STS MUX DMUX as well as add drop MUX that provides the line layer functions. Okay. So path layer is responsible for the movement of signal from optical source to optical destination total end to end, and it is handled by STC MUX DMUX. Okay. Function is provided. Line layer is responsible movement of the signal across the physical line, and it is handled by STS and add drop MUX. Then section layer is there and photonic layer. So one is in the data link layer and other is in the physical layer. So data link layer is having three, that is the path, section and line layer. Path, line and section layer. So section layer is responsible for the movement of signal across a physical section. Okay. So each device of the network provides the section layer functions. The section is device to neighboring device communication. So one device to neighboring device communication is handled by the device of the network provider. So section layer is responsible for the movement of the signal across the physical section, and that physical section is from one device to other device. Okay. The line layer is also responsible for movement of the signal across the physical section, but that physical section is from one MUX to other MUX. This physical section is from one device to other device. So that is the difference. So it is responsible for movement of the signal across the physical section, but now this is handled by the device, because the neighboring devices are communicating each other. Now the photonic layer, that is in the physical layer, and it is it corresponds to the physical layer of the OSI model. It is corresponding to or similar to or same to the physical layer of OSI model. Photonic layer in SONET is physical layer of the OSI model, and it includes the physical specifications for optical fiber channels. That is, the presence of light is 1, absence of light is considered 0, okay, bit 1, bit 0. So this is physical specifications for the optical fiber channel. So these are the 4 layer functions. Path layer responsible for movement of the signal from optical source to optical destination end to end. STS MUX DMUX provides the function. LAN layer is responsible for movement of the signal across physical line, but this physical line is from one mux to other mux total. In between devices are also there. So it is handled by STC mux demux and add drop mux provided by line layer functions. So these are providing line layer. Section layer is also responsible for movement of signal across the physical section. Okay, so signal across the physical line and signal across the physical section. It is limited up to device, and that's why each device in the network provides the section layer function. So obviously one device to other device the functionality or process is there, so that each device will provide the section layer functions. And last is photonic layer. It is corresponding to physical layer of OSI model, and it includes the physical specification for optical fiber channel, that is presence of light is 1 and absence of light is 0. So if data is coming from the data packet as 1 and 0, then 1 is converted to blinking on light on and 0 is converted to light off. Okay, so conversion, how it is there? So 1 is there, light is on, 0 is there, light is off. So signal, optical signal is created like making LED or source on and off. So this conversion is there in the photonic layer. So this is the function of photonic layer. So these are the 4 functions of the SONET, 4 layer functions of the SONET. Advantages of the SONET: it transmits the data to large distances, because it is optical network, it transmits data to the large distances. So it is having low electromagnetic interface, because it is the immune to the interference. So it is having low electromagnetic interference. It has high data rate, obviously. It has large bandwidth, obviously. All these are advantages of optical network. So all the advantages of optical network will be advantages of the SONET, because SONET is the part of the optical network, or it is the optical network related protocol. So SONET has the advantages of it is transmitting data to a large distance, it is having the low electromagnetic interference, it has the high data rates, and it has large bandwidth. So this is about the SONET, which is the synchronous optical network, or SDS, synchronous data hierarchy network. Then next is Ethernet standard IEEE 802.X, that X is varying 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So 802.3 is basically for communication. Ethernet standard IEEE 802. So Ethernet is a set of technologies and protocols that are used primarily in LANs. When connecting devices in the LAN, these connections are facilitated with the set of technologies and set of protocols. So Ethernet is a set of technology and protocols that are used primarily in LANs. To setting up a LAN, suppose we have set up the LAN, one device to connect to other device. How to connect? Coaxial cable, thin cable, optical fiber cable, wireless, Wi-Fi, Zigbee. How to connect it? That is the technology. And it is connected. How to communicate in between the devices? How the address should be placed, how the error checking should be placed, what is the rate of transmission, so that whatever the pulses one device is transmitting, the other device should receive with that same pulses by sampling it. If it is having the different sampling clock, then it may be receiving erroneous pulses. Okay. So all this is standardized. So it is called Ethernet standard. IEEE does that. But out of that, the Ethernet is the set of technologies. What are the technologies? And set of protocol. What are the protocols that are used in the LANs? So in LAN, some technologies are used for connections, interconnections, and some protocols are used for interoperation, and these technologies and protocols is called Ethernet. It is a network, Ethernet, virtual network, Ether network. So name is given Ether network, Ethernet. So it was first standardized in 1980s by IEEE 802.3 standard. IEEE 802.3 defines the physical layer and medium access control MAC, medium access control MAC sublayer of the data link layer for wired Ethernet networks, wired Ethernet. So this was 802.3 defines first, in 1980s it was first standardized. There IEEE 802 defines the physical layer and the medium access control MAC sublayer of the data link layer. So data link layer, as we have seen in the sonnet also, physical layer is photonic layer, and data link layer are having that line layer, then link, the path layer, section layer, isn't it? Line layer, section layer. So three layers are there. Similarly, in data link layer in the electrical networks in the 1980s, there are various layers in the data link. Out of that, one sub layer is medium access control, MAC layer. So IEEE 802.3 defines the physical layer and medium access layer, that is MAC layer, on which medium the communication is going on, that is medium access layer, medium access control sub layer. So this is the lowermost layer in the data link layer, that is lowermost layer in the data link layer, and below that it is physical layer. So these two defines the IEEE 802.3. IEEE 802.3 defines the physical layer and medium access control MAC sublayer of the data link layer of the wired Ethernet networks. Okay, and similarly continued for the other technologies. So it was firstly defined for 802.3 for wired networks, and afterwards it is generalized for other type of the technologies. So it become family, Ethernet standard IEEE 802.x. So it has become, X will have any number 1, 2, 3, 4. So accordingly it has become family, large group of the standards. So IEEE 802 is now family of Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEEE standards. It is a family of IEEE standards for what? For local access, local area network LAN, for personal area network PAN, and for metropolitan area network MAN. For all type of the networks, this IEEE 802 is a family of IEEE standards. Now it has become bunch of IEEE standards. Initially it was IEEE 802.3, that is the for wired LAN, but then it has many such standards. It is become now a family of the standards. So IEEE 802 LAN MAN Standard Committee, that is called LMSC. IEEE 802 has a committee which is LAN MAN Standards Committee. So it is handling or dealing with standardization of LAN as well as MAN standards. So that committee, LAN MAN Standards Committee LMSC, maintains these standards. The IEEE 802 family of the standards has 12 members, numbered 802.1 to 802.12. So these are the different standards with focus group of LMSC devoted to each. There is a focus group again for 801, 802, 802.1, 802.2, 802.3, every has a focus group. Then Ethernet is classified into two categories. One is classic Ethernet and second is switched Ethernet. One is classic Ethernet and second is switched Ethernet. In classic Ethernet, the original form of Ethernet that provides the data rate between 3 to 10 megabits per second 3 to 10 megabits per second. It provides the data rate, original Ethernet, a classic Ethernet, which provides the data rate between 3 to 10 megabits Mbps. So maximum 10 Mbps. The variety are commonly referred to as 10 base X. 10 base X. 10 is because 10 Mbps. So here 10 is maximum throughput, that is 10 Mbps. Base denotes the use of baseband transmission, which type of the transmission it is using. So base denotes which type of the transmission, and X is the type of medium, which medium it is using out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So optical is having one number, Wi-Fi is having one number, Zigbee is having one number, likewise. Wired Ethernet is having one number, then wired, in the wired also that may be having the thin wire, thick wire, twisted pair, and coaxial and all that. So these most varieties of classic Ethernet have become obsolete in present communication scenario. I will upload this lecture. Okay. So I have seen just now the message 8:21 AM message. I don't know now it is audible or not. So I have turned on mic. I have not. I am switching off and on again. Okay, mic is on and off. So I will have the linkage probably. Okay, so otherwise I am uploading this, just 10 minutes are remaining. So the switched Ethernet uses the switches to connect the stations in the LAN, and it replaces the repeaters used in the classic Ethernet and allows full bandwidth utilization. Okay, what is the classic Ethernet and what is the switch Ethernet? So in switched Ethernet, it uses the switches to connect the stations in the LAN. So there is a LAN, and in between there are the switches, so that it can be dynamically routed or dynamically selected the path. So switched Ethernet uses the switches to connect the stations in the LAN. Station to station connection is not there, in between the switches are there. It replaces the repeaters used in the classic Ethernet and allows the full bandwidth utilization. Okay, repeaters are replaced in the classic to the switches, and it allows the full bandwidth utilization. So switches are introduced, and that becomes the switched Ethernet. So IEEE 802.3 specifies the several different physical layers, whereas Ethernet defines only one. Okay, Ethernet is one, but the physical layers are several. So each IEEE 802.3 physical layer protocol has the name that summarizes its characteristics. Obviously, the physical layer protocol has the name. Each different physical layer has the protocol, and it has its name, and it summarizes its characteristics. So IEEE 802.3 has coded physical layer name component. It has some coding for its name. IEEE 802.3 has the naming which is coded, and it is this code. So Ethernet standard IEEE 802.x is having the LAN speed as the first number, that is Mbps, maybe 10, and type of the medium, that is the base or broad, that is baseband or broadband. Baseband, for baseband it is used as a base, for broadband it is used as a broad. And next is the LAN segment length, either it is 10, 100 meter multiples, or if it is 5, then it will be 500 meter. Okay, if it is 2, it will be 200 meter. So 10 base 2 means 10 Mbps baseband and 200 meter. 10 base 5 means 10 Mbps baseband and 100 meter multiples, that is 500 meter. So this is the coding, 10 base 5, 10 base 2, etc. So it is physical layer name components. Then the Ethernet standard IEEE 802.x, it is IEEE 802. three popular versions are there. Many versions are there. Popularly used versions are these. So IEEE 802.3 is having IEEE 802.3 as 10 base 5. Similarly, IEEE 802.3A is having 10 base 2. IEEE 802.3I, it is having 10 base T, and IEEE 802.3J, this is having 10 base F. So this is last one is the optical related. So IEEE 802.3, which is having 10 base 5, is the bus technology or bus topology. It is using thick coaxial cable. It is established in 1983. Okay, so it is bus topology, and it is using in the bus thick coaxial cable. Okay, so IEEE 802.3, it is a basic 10 base 5, 10 Mbps baseband, 500 meter. So IEEE 802.3A, after 3 it has defined 3A, which is having 10 base 2, that is 10 Mbps baseband and 200 meters. It is also a bus topology, and thin coaxial cable instead of thick coaxial cable, it is a thin coaxial cable. It is introduced in 1985, 2 years after that. So instead of thick, it is thin coaxial cable. So base 10 base 5 and 10 base 2, and it has number 802.3 to 802.3A. Similarly, IEEE 802.3I is there, 3I. So I is there instead of A. So originally IEEE 802.3 is there classically. It is modified 802.3A, and again IEEE 802.3I. So there are many. Out of those, only the popular versions which are used often are listed here. So IEEE 802.3I is there, which is again having 10 base T. Okay, and that is star topology. Now these previous two were bus topology. This is star topology, and it is using the UTP cable, and it is introduced in 1990. So I is the standard, which is 10 base T. Okay, it uses the UTP cable. Similarly, the IEEE 802.3J is there. Okay, J, and it is a 10 base F. Okay, so as it is not having much importance of the distance, it is named as a T in UTP cable and F in the fiber cable systems. So it is also in the star topology. So just like the 500 meter, 200 meter, here it is not important because it is a long distance possible. So it is again the star technology, and it is a fiber optic cable, and it is introduced in 1993. Okay, so this is about some of the popular IEEE 802.3 versions. So Ethernet standard is there, that is IEEE 802.x, and out of that IEEE 802.3 some popular versions are there. Many versions are developed, that is 802.3, 802.3.A, 3.A, 802.3, many other. Then I is also there, J is also there. Out of those, the popularly used now also they are used is these 3-4 are there. And one is coaxial medium cable medium is using, which is a thick form, which is thin form again, and then UTP cable is using, then optical fiber cable is also using, and these are the popular versions. IEEE 802.3, which is having these types, subtypes. IEEE 802.3 is a 10 base 5, which is bus technology, thick coaxial cable. Here is introduction is 1983. IEEE 802.3A, this is the 10 base 2, and bus topology is a thin coaxial cable, and year of introduction is 1985. IEEE 2.3i base 10 base t it is. So T is indicating distance is not important. So it is T type. Star topology and UTP cable is used, and year of introduction is 1990, and IEEE 802.3 J is there, which is 10 base F. Now F is for fiber, optical fiber, and again the distance is not important. And star topology for the fiber optic cable is here in the is used, and the fiber optic cable is used and introduced in 1993. Okay. So this is about the various popular versions of the IEEE 802, where the 10 base 5, the first number indicates maximum speed 10 Mbps, base indicates the type either base or broadband, medium, which medium is used, baseband or broadband, and the last number indicates 100 multiple of distance, how much it can be working, its range. 5 indicates 500 meter, 2 indicates 200 meters, but if T and F are there, it can work for longer distances, and it is not important because it is having very long distance propagation communication capability. So UTP and optical fiber cable, they are indicated as T and F. And as our case, optical fiber communication systems, this is the standard which is used in the optical fiber communication case, that is IEEE 802.3J, and which is having 10 base F, that is 10 Mbps baseband, and F is for fibers, optical fiber communication. So this is the naming or coding of the IEEE standard, and it is having variation in the standard. So this classical standard is IEEE 802.3, then whatever the required changes are there for thick coaxial to thin coaxial, these changes are adopted in the protocol, and new protocol is developed in the IEEE 802.3A. And similarly, the progression on the development of the protocol is going on. Then sometimes in 1990, IEEE 802.3I is developed, and accordingly all the changes in the protocols, rules and technologies are done, so that it can be developed for this new UTP cable network. And it is topology also changed from bus to star, because whatever the star topology advantages are there, those are exploited, those are used. So it is convert then is the in 1990 it is the I, and then in 1993 it has become IEEE 802.3 J, which is 10 base F, as it is for fiber optical fiber communication. And then accordingly the modifications, these were working on the electrical, and this is now working in the optical. And what is the framing, what are the packeting, these rules are there. Then medium is different, then MAC rules will be different, and then physical layer rules will be different, and all these changes are adopted, and a new standard is developed, and that standard is IEEE 802.3J, and it is having 10 base F, 10 Mbps baseband medium, and F is fiber, and this is used in star topology. So accordingly the star details of the star topology is introduced into the protocol, then fiber optic cable is used, and in 1993 it is developed. So changes are going on incorporated, and these new protocols are developed. Okay. So this is the basically protocol which is in the optical fiber communication. Okay. So this is the protocol for optical fiber communication. Okay. So IEEE 802.3 popular version is having the most popular ones are 802.3 protocols are IEEE 802.3. This was original standard given by 10 base 5. It uses the thick single coaxial cable into which the connection can be tapped by drilling into the cable of the cable core. Okay, tapping, connecting to cable core. Here the 10 is the maximum throughput, that is 10 Mbps. Base denotes the baseband transmission, and 5 refers to the maximum segment length of 500 meter. Similarly, IEEE 802.3a, this gives the standard for the thin coaxial cable. So 10/2 is there, and which is a thinner variety where the segments of the coaxial cables are connected by BNC connectors, and the 2 refers to the maximum segment length, that is about 200 meter. So 185 meter to be precise. So 185 meter was the segment length. It is called 200 meter because 2 is the codable number. 1.8 is not codable number. Either it can be 5 or 2 or 3, etc. So 2 is there. 200 meter means 185. So this is a 802.3a. So then IEEE 802.3i, this gave the standard for the twisted pair 10/T. So twisted, T for twisted pair. So twisted pair, and that uses the unshielded twisted pair. Unshielded twisted pair. So just like the coaxial, the shielding is not there. Coaxial is having shielding, isn't it? Thin coaxial, thick coaxial, both are having shielding, but this twisted pair is not having the shielding. Twisted pair means 2 wires are twisted together, but 2 wires are having the insulation over it, and they are twisted. So unshielded twisted pair is there, UTP. Okay, unshielded twisted pair, copper wires are there, and this is at the physical layer medium, so it is T for that. And the number variations were given by IEEE 802.3U for baseband 100 base TX, 100 base T4 and 100 base FX. Okay, so these are the numbers. Then the IEEE 802.3J is this give the standard for Ethernet over the fiber 10/F, that uses the fiber optic cable as a medium for the transmission. Okay, so this is the IEEE 802.3J. Okay, so this is giving the standard for Ethernet over the fiber 10/F, that uses the fiber optic cables as a medium of transmission. Okay, I don't know whether you are able to listen this lecture or not. You may be getting this on the app as well as I am immediately after this lecture I am uploading to the YouTube. So you can access the app or you can access the YouTube for the lecture, and you can watch this. I will improve the quality of slide wise as well as visual as well as audio quality, so that you can have the better quality on the YouTube. You can watch on app on the mobile also. So this completes the OFC syllabus. So this is the last lecture of the OFC. And for that we have referred always the Optical Fiber Communications Principles and Practice, John M. Senior, assisted by M. Yusuf, Jemro, Prentice Hall, 3rd edition 2009. This book I have referred for preparing all the slides or preparing the material, study material, notes also, and you can refer this book. And this is having all the syllabus, 100% syllabus in that. Optical Fiber Communication Principle Practice, John M. Senior, assisted by M. Yusuf, Jemro, and Prentice Hall, 3rd edition 2009. So thank you. Be at home, be healthy, be safe in this pandemic. And so complete all the quizzes, complete the journal. I have uploaded the all the experiments on the YouTube. So you can first watch the general video, which is for connection purpose, how to make the connection, to understand the connections of the kit, and then 7 experiments I have performed and uploaded. And while performing the experiment, the readings are taken and which are very much clearly visible on the YouTube video. And I also talked about the readings in the verbal way, so that you can easily listen it. So you can take those readings into journals, and whenever the readings are required to put in the tables, so you can tabulate the results, or whenever the results are required, readings are required for the calculation, you can use that for the calculation also, and you calculate it whatever is required. Attenuation calculation is required, and then numerical aperture calculation is required. So you can calculate it and complete the journal and submit the PDF. I am now today I am enabling the link for that, uploading the journal, optical fiber communication DET 3209, that is practical lab. So that completed journal you upload after watching this video. Watch the video, that is the important, and you are not yet started to watching the practical videos, so watch the video so that it can be term work completion, so you will understand how to perform the practicals also, and upload the videos for the simulations also. I am enabling the link for simulation uploading also, and prepare the project report and upload the report also. I am enabling the link for project report also, project report uploading, then simulation video uploading, and then for the optical fiber case the journal PDF uploading. So these three I am enabling today. At the same time I am enabling the few more quizzes. Yesterday also 2 quizzes are enabled, so 6 quizzes are there for the 5th chapter till now. So remaining quiz for 5th and 6th chapter I will enable it, allot it, assign it. So this is the last lecture. Hope all are well understood the concepts. So this is very shallow concepts, actual theory, which are very not very in detail or in depth. And again, for looking into the virtual classrooms, I have diluted it, I have reduced it, cut down many things. So it has become very shallower or very short syllabus, and many times we have repeated in the classes the things, so things are well remembered by you, and again you can revise the classes on the app and YouTube, and you can attempt the quiz, so that you will become perfect in attempting the multiple choice questions which are in the examinations. So today we will stop our lectures. So this is the last lecture for the optical fiber communication. If any question are there to you, you can always ask anytime on the WhatsApp, on the mobile, or directly on the mobile, or you can mail me, or you can use Google platform, Google Classroom platform, or the app platform. Wherever you give the this any query, raise the query, I will answer it. Okay. So very small, less days are remaining. You just go for the completion of all these tasks, so that you will be facing the examination in the next to next week. Okay, thank you. So I am stopping this.